What do I know about romance? I'm not a gynecologist.
I'm dead.
All right, and we're back.
We are back.
Everybody's favorite podcast.
Sorry, Amma. I married a Kiwi.
Episode 17.
Oh my God.
I know.
17 is a very lucky number.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Just flying through. So before we get sidetracked, we need to hear the other proposal story
I don't want to.
from your sordid past of proposals. Sorry.
I don't want to.
Okay.
Can I just dig a hole and then just go myself?
Yes,
hide myself.
that's what this podcast is all about. This was nothing on you, this story, right? This was all
Nothing on me. Okay, I'll make it short and sweet. Just don't tell anybody this story.
We're just telling this to all of our listeners.
I'm telling them. Don't tell anybody else.
Okay, you people don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
Okay, just rip off the Band-Aid.
Oh, God, dear Lord. Okay.
So whenabouts was this?
This must have been a long time ago. Probably when I was back to Aya's wedding, my older brother's wedding in... When did he get married? 2020 or 2021? Something like that.
Not that far back. This was like the last time you'd gone to Sri Lanka before.
In my head, it is a long time ago.
Okay, ancient history. Yeah.
Or probably even further back. Who knows? Maybe before COVID.
Okay.
I can't remember. Somehow, I was in Sri Lanka at the time and for a short visit. And then another proposal. I have no idea how this came across my parents. Amma told me there's a guy who's from a good family. He's a doctor, not just any doctor.
Not a writer who submits himself to medical experiments. That sounds hopeful.
Yeah. He's a very important dude, apparently.
Okay. Is this how Amma put it to you?
No. It's like, I think everybody knows this.
What an important dude.
Everybody knows this in Asian cultures, in Asian societies. Like if you're a doctor or an engineer or a lawyer or those other things that's considered successful, everybody else is a failure.
It is known. This is the way.
It's very known. So it's like I had one thing that I'm never going to marry a doctor or a lawyer. Mm. So when Amma bought the few reasons, we're not going to go into that. But
is it lawyer because you were a lawyer and doctor because there'd be too much blood?
No, there's a little bit of a. I don't want to go into
Okay. Okay, I'm tantalized, but we'll leave that for next time.
One of the reasons is that lawyers and doctors both have very, very, very
exhaustive schedules.
Careers and very competitive in nature, and you have to climb up the ladder without any.
It's how you said
regardless of the costs.
You didn't want to marry a businessman for that same reason, right?
Yeah. So I didn't want to have somebody whose first priority is the career. Mm-hmm. To be fair, so I mean, if you have worked that hard to become a doctor or a lawyer, I don't blame somebody for putting their career as one of the most important things in their life, but that wasn't for me. Mm-hmm. So that's the reason. Any says,
nice.
So when a doctor came into the picture, Amma was like, I know you don't like doctors, but I think he's from a good, he's a good person, whatnot.
I like that you list that as his negative quality. He's a great guy. Unfortunately, he's the doctor.
I mean, not only in my scenario, because I know most of the girls would have loved to marry a doctor or a lawyer. I'm a different egg. So Amma was like, okay, so do you want to, is that okay if I ask them to come by? Because they were I think they were from Gaul, probably a 1 hour drive. So it's not a biggie. So Amma's like, it's just, you're here and it doesn't happen often. So let's invite them home. And I'm like, no, I want to have it. For some reason, maybe the universe was a little bit like, girl, you might have to have a chat with this guy first. For some reason,
wise intuition.
So my intuition said you gotta have a chat with this guy. So I said, cool. I will consider that, but I want to talk to him first. Give him my phone number or whatever, Messenger, Facebook, whatever. Just ask him to give me a call. So he did give me a call. We had a good chat. I probably was within the first day of the chat. I mean, if you have a brain, you can figure out what I'm talking about. But he said something about his.
Shall we call it his bicycle?
I'm very sorry, guys, that we're saying this story. But This is
I'm
entertainment.
sorry for you that you were the one receiving this story.
That's the thing. This guy was a gynaec.
Oh my
He's
gosh.
a gynecologist. He's a gynecologist consultant, surgeon, whatever, something. So it's not that he shouldn't.
So
be.
he understands the females, ladies.
He said something along the lines of like completely.
What was the start of the conversation?
I have no idea. I
Probably
can't
just
remember.
niceties.
It's all niceties. Just talking about. He kind of said something like he's a romantic. He likes to be like to take care of the like it's not like it's a responsibility being married to a woman for me. Like blah 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 blah. I was like, oh, that's a nice thing to say.
I'm a romantic. I'm a gynecologist.
I was like, okay, I'll just consider this, okay. And then he's like, while we were talking about being romantic and nice to the other person, he said something like, I don't know whether you can handle it. And
was it any, I mean, I know you don't really remember, was it any prelude to that statement? I'm nice, I'm romantic, I'm a gynecologist, but I don't know if you can handle it. And you're like, excuse me?
I'm dead. No,
This was a phone call, right?
This was a phone
So
call,
even more,
audio.
So even more confusing. You're not sure if you.
It is very confusing, and I think like there probably must have been some clues. I'm sorry, I can't remember. A long time ago, for some reason, it kind of registered to me like he's not talking about how nice he is. So my idiot brain started to process while we were talking. I'm like, is he talking about his bicycle?
Oh, you thought he was like, you can't handle how nice I am.
Because completely out of context.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? He said like, I don't want to mention anything else. That's all I'm going to say. He somehow brought into the conversation within the first ever call that he has a very good bicycle and he was wondering whether I can handle it. And I was just like slowly cut out the conversation because I wasn't sure like how else to do that. And the funniest thing is like my mom is like because like he's good from everything else, right? So Amma is like,
how did you exit the phone call?
I can't remember. I'm really good at communication, you know. I probably must have come up with something to.
And how long did that? I feel like you told me originally that you thought whatever the bicycle was he was referring to was something else.
I totally.
And then like you kind of like, I'm wondering how long this kind of like two-sided miscommunication went.
I was going along with the conversation all the while thinking in my head. I was like, is he saying what I'm thinking? Is that what he's referring to? Like, am I getting this completely wrong? Like, what the hell is going on? And this is the first conversation, and that's what you're thinking about right now.
Like, this man seems very obsessed with his niceness.
Oh God. Anyways, so I cut the call. Like, I mean, I just ended the conversation saying, it's like, oh yeah, like let's have a chat or what? Like, but he said like let's have a chat or something. I was like, sure, another time, and like cut the call. And Amma was like, so should I let them, should I invite them all? I was like, hell no. And then she was so confused.
Wasn't she like angry at first, like, you're not giving me a reason? And you're like, I don't want to give a reason.
Yeah, she was like, kept badgering me, asking for a reason why not. And I wanted to like save the poor woman being traumatized. So I was like, no, it's you know, I don't think it's going to be a good match. And after probably the fifth or sixth time she was asking and being angry at me, and I said something I said I was told about a bicycle. So
is that what you want to know? And then she's like, whoop.
Yeah, she's like, sorry, cool, no, all good. And then she walked away from her room.
But you didn't use the bicycle metaphor with her though, right?
No. I used the exact word.
He wanted to know if I could handle it. Is that what you...
Yes, that's exactly what I said to her. She was like, right. She walks away.
Oh my gosh.
Masha has proposal tales.
Man, am I right? The idea of being like, oh, I'm a gynecologist, I'm a romantic. My only issue is I'm not sure if you can handle it. Did you even breathe between those statements? Oh my gosh.
He's not full of himself, by the way.
He's not full of himself?
No.
Oh, he said that as well?
No. Just saying.
Hey,
probably he thinks that.
Cool. Well, I'm glad that was done and dusted pretty quickly.
see how like the recordings, it's just like only like straight lines because we're just laughing
too hard
so much. So yeah, so that's the last and final proposal story that I have in store for you guys. And if you're listening and if you have a good proposal story, please comment or just send me a message. If you're listening, you probably know us in person, so you know how to contact me. We would love to talk about those stories because I know it's not just me who have faced those silly, weird proposals. So
yeah, I mean, there's parallels to like the terrible app dating situation, and like
we would love to hear those too.
Jeez. So moving right on. Mm-hmm. After that, you had a bit of a talk with Aya about, like, obviously you'd finally told Aya about the Sam situation.
Yeah.
And I think I remember you saying, like, I'm not sure if Aya was driving you to Colombo or something, but you were having a chat and like you were telling him all about me.
I think we were in Mathura. I think we were planning my stuff to bring back. I think we were just getting ready to come back or something at one point because I was kind of busy with my friend having her in registration at the time, so she was getting married, so I was like busy working with her. It worked out for me too because I was like, okay, I'm just gonna ignore the situation and then just like keep myself in Colombo a little bit away. Yep. Just let's not face the reality
it's
right
good
now.
For everybody to be able to breathe for a bit.
Yeah, just like keep the distance. Sometimes it's the best. Like you gotta give it time for some things to come down to the point where like the atmosphere is good for a discussion. So,
and didn't you go to a wedding while you were in Colombo?
I did. A very good friend of mine. This was a great time, but it was it was a story of its own because one good friend of mine had her wedding in Sri Lanka. Her whole family lives here, so her whole family has flown to Sri Lanka as well. But the problem was I was just like isolated friend. Like I wasn't a part of group or anything. Like with her, like I loved her family. They were really, really nice. They kind of took me in when I was like just by myself in New Zealand, didn't know many people, and like a lot of the time very, very much homesick. So that friend's mother and father, they kind of like treated me like a child. Like they like whenever I'm bored or like when I'm feeling homesick, I was just like, hey auntie, I'm coming home, I'll come by, are you guys home? And then I would just go home, and then she's such a like a maternal person. Like not just me, there's so many people every weekend there to be fed by her. She would be cooking for Storm for all the people there. And I would just like spend the night, like wouldn't even plan, just go there, just randomly crash and then have a good movie night in the yeah. So I'm really close to them, but it was just like a one friend there, not like a group. So when I went to the wedding, I was like, obviously I was single at the time.
What?
Technically, nobody knows. So it was just
huge miscommunication.
And I'm only close to the family, which were in a table near the couple, and I was just like with this random people. Like I knew some of them, but they were with like couples. Some of them had kids, so I was just like with a bunch of people that I didn't really know. But there was one lady, was just like one girl who was super nice to me. We just snapped photos and stuff. But when they were doing their things with their partners and stuff, I was just like, so. Okay, what do I do now? That must have been the first time I have ever went to a wedding by myself.
Because my memory is that you didn't really go by yourself because I was still trapped in the clinical trial back in New Zealand. And you like had me on phone when you were driving there? No, were you driving? You were in a tuk-tuk.
I drove there at the time. That's such a mistake.
Because I heard the crazy journey of going through Colombo traffic.
I just hate driving in Colombo. I don't like driving in Sri Lanka, like altogether, because of the traffic and like the bikes and the tuk-tuks. Like you have to have so much patience and like you need to have like eyes in the back of your eyes, back of your head, to be able to be a good driver in Sri Lanka. That's a different skill. And since I have I have two brothers and a father, like, why do I even bother, So now when I go back, I'm like, please somebody drive me. But at the time I was there for 3 months and I had my car. I took a family car to Colombo where I was staying for some days, especially in the wedding time. I was like, this would be easier for me to go to the salon, and then the wedding was first in a church and then in a hotel, so I had to go to the church and then to the hotel. So I decided to drive, and I was like, why did I do this to myself?
I just remember being on the phone hearing the dun, 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 as you're trying to reverse.
Oh my god!
The park, and you're rushing to get there.
Yeah,
but it was emotional though, right? Because it was all that stuff with us was happening at the same time. It
was very Sam. Poor Sam Sam was my virtual date the whole night. You must have been on the phone for 4 hours, from the time that I left home, dressed I wore a sari and all that kind of stuff. Went to the church, met another nice girl. We went back to her place because she wanted to change or something. And then I just drove them with me. And yeah, after dropped her, apart from that 1 hour gap in middle, Sam was on the phone the whole time. Even when I got to the wedding, he was on the phone. I'm very grateful because I was kind of what do I do by myself? Which is so black.
But it was the church, the ceremony at the church, which was the main emotional part, right?
Yeah. It was lovely. And I don't think I have ever been to a church wedding at that point. It was so beautiful. And yeah, I was like, oh man, when does this happen to, when do I get to have this on my own terms? And it was
I want to marry you, man. Probably texting a lot of disgustingly sweet stuff around the time too.
Did I? Oh, let's
so.
not bring that up.
No, it was me as well.
Not after a bicycle story.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to bring this back to something romantic and pure. Sorry for having a heart.
Yeah,
what do I know about romance? I'm not a gynecologist.
Okay, so moving on.
Okay. So, should we talk about New Year's?
What happened in New Year's?
So, I was out of the clinic having New Year's. We were turning into the year 2023.
Whoa.
3.
4.
No, 3.
4.
Because we met October. Stop saying numbers. Because we met October 2022.
Okay.
And then, so it was New Year 2023.
Did we meet in 2022?
Yes, we did.
Ah.
I know. Crazy. So I was with Lydia and my other friends up at Lydia's place in Silverdale, which is a beautiful big green farm.
I have never been there still.
Still got to take you there.
We should, yeah.
Been a few years, I should probably do that now. But so we were just playing some games for New Year's, and obviously I was in contact with you, and then you told me...
Okay, so I had...
Crazy story.
Why do we talk about all of my past relationships? We need to get back to your relationship.
I have so much embarrassing stuff. I just feel weird because usually it's just discussing my own embarrassing past. This is very refreshing for me, actually.
That putting me through the trauma and the shame must be nice.
Well, I wouldn't put it like that exactly.
Okay. No, this is my ex back in Sri Lanka. He's a very nice guy. But circumstances didn't work out. I'm not going to tell the full story. But he we just called it off.
This was the person you were with when you first came to NZ,
Yes,
right?
that was my first ever boyfriend. So I met him a few months before I came to New Zealand, and so I came here. So we didn't really get to actually date. It was over the phone dating, overseas date. What do you call it? Long distance. For a long time, overseas dating.
Yeah, overseas dating.
There was so much things happening, and it didn't really work out. So I kind of called it off. And at the point, I was like, okay, I think we're in good terms. We're friends. We have moved on. So I was meaning to go meet him, and so he was saying, oh, you're here, let's have a catch up. And I said, sure, I'll come see you. So I went to meet him. on the day before New Year, so New Year's night, 31st night. And again, Sam was on the phone.
I just kind of get told, hey, Sam, it's kind of weird, but like Nex has reached out and kind of wants closure, so we thought we'd meet up tonight. I'm like, isn't it New Year's? I was like, yeah, we're just going to, I just
New
feel
Year's,
like...
but just FYI, New Year's is not a big deal in Sri Lanka. So.
Okay, well, there you go.
Yeah.
But everyone else is kind of playing board games, getting excited about the countdown. I'm like nervously checking my phone.
I'm so sorry for putting you through all of this, Sam.
You're like, Sam, why aren't you focusing on the game? And Amasha's texting me like, okay, I'm in the KFC parking lot. I'm like, this is just very intense for a New Year's. Like,
oh, the things you had to go through.
like it was, like we were fine, obviously. Like, we don't have any, issues with insecurities and things like that. But at the same time, we are long distancing through a very emotionally difficult thing with the parents. And from what you generally told me about the ex, like I wasn't 100% sure that, this was just like a friendly catch up. I might have had,
Were you scared?
some trepidation. We're not scared, but I'm like, I did feel the need to be monitoring my phone,
Right.
Yeah.
Again, very sorry.
In case you're like, hey, this is a bad situation. I'm taking my potato and gravy and I'm getting out of here.
No.
It was fine.
I'm actually like, I'm very grateful like for the understanding and like being, I mean, not that we were just like, oh my God, we're going to get married tomorrow kind of stage, but at the same time we were.
You and me?
Yeah.
Good.
Not you and I.
just clarify.
Just clarifying, yeah. Sam and I. So even though it's not like that crazy commitment, like we haven't talked to each other about like, oh my God, we're getting married or whatever. But at the same time, I am somebody, if I'm committed, I'm committed. So like, I didn't have to think about, in my end, I didn't have to think about like, just because I'm meeting somebody, regardless whether that person and I were romantically interested in each other in the past, that doesn't matter. Because I'm like, well, he's just a friend. After that, when the chapter closed, the chapter is closed. But I know that's not how it works. People still, like, there are problems in relationships that can come up because of those kind of things. And I know situations where, like any girl would be very reluctant to bring that up because of that. I
think you said that was a theme, like, also with, like, the family not, being on board with me. Like, all the friends were saying, just don't tell Sam those details, right? Don't disclose that. But that's, like, I can't imagine you ever withholding details because that's so against, like, who you are.
Exactly. Like, and also, like, I don't know, if it's a cultural thing, if it's a millennium, like, all of us, our problem, the insecurities and, like, having suspicions towards your spouse is a big problem, and I have seen so many cases with that when I was practicing back home in Sri Lanka, like so many marriages
Family
breaking down.
Yeah,
so many marriages breaking down because like they're constantly suspecting that the other person is up to no good. Even though you're not doing something, you still think that you're up to no good, or like all that kind of stuff. So because of that, like the fact that Sam is okay, and like probably now that you're telling this, like probably you were not chill whatsoever underneath, but you looked like you were chill, which I'm very, like the fact that I could easily tell you like, hey, I'm just gonna meet this guy. Like I have told you about it, told everything about him, but at the same time, for you to be like, sure, yeah, of course, and I'll be on the phone if you're bored in the while you're waiting for him in the parking lot.
I think it's just weird because like our traditional New Year's thing is that you have your partner there and you're counting down to the kiss, but instead.
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that.
But instead I'm like getting video call from you sitting in your car in the KFC parking lot like, okay, I can't see him yet. I'm like, this is just like, this is a weird juxtaposition.
But again, it might be closer for you to counting down, but for me it's like I'm 7.5 hours behind. So it's just like 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon. Who cares, totally man?
But also I was just reflecting then that I'd only actually met you just 2 months before this happened. Which is crazy.
It is crazy,
and I had a lot of friends, well, not at the time, but I know I've had friends like later who said like, at the time I was talking about you and like wanting, how we were going to get married and how we were going to make that work. And they're like, I don't know, like how to talk to you, Sam, because you've just met this person and like you're constantly talking about like your marriage plans. Like.
Stop it, Sam.
So it was,
You met the woman 3 times.
Yeah, this isn't Sri Lanka,
That's the thing. Like, it's just how different the cultures are and the way they look at it.
Exactly.
It's so funny.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess over here we have a worse record of relationships that are based on only, marriages that are based only on a few dates. Maybe because we have less practice at it. So.
Well, we have a great record at it. So.
And I know that was a stereotype too, right? Which obviously played into your parents' decision. Is there's a stereotype that white people just kind of walk in and out of relationships like a revolving door.
Yeah. I think that's one of the biggest concerns for my parents, especially Amma. Like she. Like, as I always mention, like, the reason why she was so hesitant is not that she's a cruel person or anything. She was very scared of the unknown. She didn't know how to read this person. She can't even speak to the person, let alone reading the person's mannerisms and cues and stuff. Comes from a very different culture. And in our culture, like in Sri Lankan culture, or most of the Asians look towards the Western culture and things like, man, these guys just walk in and out of marriage like a salon door, So it's like the commitment is not a big deal. That's the idea.
Which is weird, because maybe that's what's like the core value of the culture. But like you also have told me that the divorce rate is surprisingly high in Sri Lanka,
high.
which feels bizarre to me when because obviously it's just not discussed at all.
Yeah.
And yet it's still like pretty massive phenomenon.
It is a massive phenomena. I'm actually going to Google. Like, honestly, while we're on here, I'm just...
Hold on, folks. We're bringing up numbers and statistics as we speak. And the answer's coming to us right now. Sri Lanka has one of the lowest crude divorce rates. What is that? Like, when the divorce is just ruder than other divorces?
Crude.
About 0.15 divorces per 1,000 people per year. In other terms, it's very few divorces per day. However, there are many divorce filings. Okay, so it's just the courts are too slow. For example, nearly 50,000 divorce cases were brought before courts by the end of 2022. Trends, is it increasing? Yes. There's indications it's increasing, but it's starting from a low base. The increase appears especially among newer marriages. Divorces within 2 to 3 years of marriage are more common. There's a rise in filings and the cases in courts.
In Sri Lanka, the divorce rate is surprisingly higher than we expected at the time when I started, when I was working briefly in Mathura courts. I was just told about how many divorces are filed a year in that court. I was just very, very surprised. But then again,
there's just a massive hold up in courts where they just it's a very lengthy process.
It is a very lengthy process, and also you have to be in one of the 3 categories in order to
qualify for it.
Let me see if my legal brain works right now. So one of them is impotency, and then the second one being
impotency. Is that if your bicycle has a deflated tire or something?
We gotta move on.
But that's what we refer to as impotency.
Yeah, that is it. Yeah.
This is a legal reason for divorce?
Yeah, you have to be either one party has to be impotent, so then you can claim saying this is the reason because of that you can't consume the marriage, so you want to have a divorce.
I just don't know if we have that as a clause. I don't know if anyone else is shocked by this, but that's very surprising to me.
The other one is malicious desertion. And what is the other one?
Did you say Malaysia's desertion?
Malicious?
Oh, they've
maliciously desert the other
they've left them with
spouse.
Malicious intent. They've just abandoned them. Yeah.
Yes. And the other one is having another affair. I can't remember the legal word for it.
The other one is having a great bicycle, but it gets into an accident and it gets badly mangled.
Oh my God. Yeah, adultery, malicious desertion, and incurable impotency at the time of marriage. So those are the 3 things.
Do you have to present evidence on that?
Yep.
What things have you seen when you were...
That's why. So Sam and I just before we started conversation about that, we looked up to actual rates of divorce rates in Sri Lanka, and it's very low when compared to overall the worldwide divorce rates.
And it said
this is one of the main reasons.
A big contributor to it was the complicated process.
It's very hard to get a divorce in Sri Lanka.
Wow.
You have to prove more. So because of that, most of the divorces go through the malicious desertion route, because you don't want to unless there's an actual adultery.
Here is a picture of the bicycle.
That's just stop.
Okay. I'm sorry. It's very hard for me to move on from this. So, are we going to end on that then?
No, we're not. Oh, God. I do not want to jump back to my ex from that.
But the end of the KFC meetup was, I mean, you got closure.
I did get closure. I mean, I already had closure. We have been broken up like 2 years at that point, I think. Probably 2 to 3 years. I think we have been broken up way longer than we have been dating.
What was the other time when you took your brother with you? What was that one?
That was also after we broken up, we were in Sri Lanka, but it was right after sort of thing. I was being petty, so he wanted to meet me, but I took Sammy with me out of spite. I'm sorry if you're listening to this.
So shortly after the breakup, you'd gone back to Sri Lanka, and then
I was in Sri Lanka for something else.
The ex asked to meet up, and you meet up, and maybe he thinks there's a rekindling, but instead you bring your little brother who's eating his KFC chicken
right next to me.
Middle. That is kind of just brilliant.
Because if you move on, you move on. My problem is I was just you know how they say when you finish a relationship, if you are getting over a relationship, no contact is the best policy. It took me probably 2 years to properly execute that. So I was constantly we were both
still in touch,
still in touch, and it was very hard to move on. And yeah, so I think I have been in a place where maybe I don't know. Otherwise, why would I go and meet him if I'm completely out of it or something like that? But I wasn't ready to give him a proper chance, so I took Sammy with me.
Was he on board with the closure?
No.
Okay. Meeting at cross purposes, maybe.
No, I actually drove there, so he came there after work or something. I can't remember. So I dropped him off on the way, and then as he was leaving the car, he said something to the fact that he's not over it. So I kind of decided that's where I cut complete contact.
Good on you.
Yeah.
Also, does KFC, are they the official sponsor of getting closure in Sri Lanka? Why is it always at a KFC? Why
because that's the only non-restaurant-y place. You can just go and quickly hang out sort of thing.
Okay.
We don't have McDonald's or anything like that in Mathura. We don't have in Mathura. No, there's a Pizza Hut, but it's somewhere completely random.
Okay.
Yeah. KFC is in the beach front, so it's hard to be seen by somebody.
It's funny because I feel like it's the same thing in New Zealand at beaches where all the breakups happen or all the deep conversations. It's okay, I'll meet you at the beach.
I think, yeah.
I guess KFC's just
the
beach
beaches
adjacent.
are too deep.
So after the New Year's closure, I think that's a good place to end for today.
Yes.
Next time we're going to get into, what are we getting into next time?
I have no idea, Sam. Are we getting anywhere?
We're just flying through this thing.
Are we?
We had the historical floods in New Zealand. That was,
I see.
That just added some drama, as if we didn't have enough of that going on. And let's try and, so we power towards the you departing Sri Lanka.
Sure. Let's do that next week, guys.
Oh, what's going to happen?
I don't know.
She's going to come back. I think they've all guessed it. But
Alrighty. See you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
On Tuesday on Sorry Amma.
I married a Kiwi. Bye.